Hello folks, Brian Shepard here with CityFly. Today we're going to go over a really basic, quick pattern from Charlie Craven called the mole fly. I recently had great success with this fly, even though it seems simple and almost too easy to tie. It's just an unbelievable fish catcher. So thank you, Charlie. Amazing pattern. Let's get to it. Alright folks, so I'm going to start out with a Tiemco 2487 in the vise. That's what the recipe calls for. I ran out of them. I only have 2488, so that'll suffice for today. Go ahead and get that in your vise. Thread-wise, I'm using yellow nano silk, but feel free to use whatever you like. It's not that important. This stuff is kind of slick, so you gotta really do a lot of jam knots to keep it from slipping off. Okay, I'm gonna stop about a hook eye length back from the front of the hook. Dubbing wise today, to keep this fly visible over the camera, I'm going for more of a yellow drake. I saw a lot of them on the river the other day. I've got about a size 12 hook in there, and I'm going with greenish yellow. Delaware River Club dubbing. This stuff is truly my favorite dry fly dubbing. You know exactly what species and what part of the hatch you're emulating. It's all down to a science, and you can buy it in a whole kit for like 50-60 bucks. It's totally worth it, and man, I use this stuff every day, so I highly recommend it. So yellow, greenish yellow dubbing. The wing is going to be CDC. I'm using the Trout Hunter CDC. Dollar for dollar, I find I get the most kind of valuable feathers out of this pack. So go ahead, you've got your thread on there. We're going to go ahead and tie in the wing. You want to take 2 or 3 CDC feathers here and put them concave side facing each other. It's not super important, so don't stress if you can't, but this is how I like to do it. So I've got them all together in a nice bunch. Now I'm going to take them, I'm going to get about a shank length. You can go kind of big with this because you want that flotation in the front. It's going to hang the fly better in the surface film. So we'll go ahead. We're going to place it with the tips facing the front of the hook. Okay. So we've got about a shank length there, a little bit more. I'm going to go ahead and wrap it in 1, 2, 3, and 4 with a nice pinch wrap. Make sure it's setting on the top of the shank. You're going to cut it off at a diagonal. It's going to give you, your nice taper. Okay, just cover these butts up. That's looking pretty good. Don't spend too much time on it. It's nice and quick. And I'm going to go down as far as I'd like, as far as I feel like going into the hook bend. It's really up to you. You can really change the size of this quite easy. You go ahead. You just can take a little bit of this thread. You're really coating the thread. You're not doing much more. You're not trying to build up a lot of bulk. It's the biggest mistake I see. Alright. So, got it in there pretty well. Working forward. Keeping it nice, slender profile. A little bit more. That trim CDC is going to create our bulk in our thorax, so you don't really have to try to build up too much here. Gonna get a little more. We are almost done with this fly. I really wasn't a believer. I heard lots of stories about it, but the other day, I tell you, these fish went crazy, and I had probably my best day of dry fly fishing on this fly. I have hundreds of them I've tied up in the last few months, but now I'm gonna keep going. All right, so we've got it tied up to the back of our CDC. Now this fly, the wings are gonna rest forward. It's gonna serve kind of like a shuttlecock. The fly, the thorax, abdomen are gonna float perpendicularly to the surface. It's going to really emulate that hatching mayfly. Covers a lot of different bases. Emergers, cripples, I'm sure spinners. It's kind of a serve-all fly here. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm just going to pull this wing out of the way, and I'm going to advance my thread to the front. Little thread base. there, and we'll go ahead and whip finish. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I gotta do it extra. I got a lot of silk here. This stuff is slippery, so give yourself some insurance. All right, so now you have a mole fly. Again, it's gonna float up in the surface. If you like, you can brush it out a little bit. I tell you, every time you catch a fish with this fly and it gets more torn up, the better it seems to fish. So go out there, check it out, subscribe on YouTube, send your pictures, let me see how you do. Thanks, guys.